Alita Battle Angel is directed by Robert Rodriguez and is produced by James Cameron. It takes place in the year 2500 or something. It's been 300 years since this big war wiped out a lot of the earth, and now you have this big city that's floating above this small crappy city, kind of like Elysium. And down in the old crappier city, Christoph Waltz finds this old cyborg, he rebuilds her, names her Alita, and now Alita's got to find out where she came from, what's her past, why does she know all these badass martial arts moves, all whilst trying to avoid the bounty hunters and the other people from the city above who are trying to kill her for one reason or another. I'll start out the video by saying this: the film is undeniably visually impressive. The special effects, the CGI were well done. Alita, she was a good motion capture creation. I thought the big eyes were going to be a distraction for me, but they really weren't. It kind of worked for her character. She's a cyborg after all. But yeah, the CGI, the special effects, they're all good. They're all well done. The action sequences, although they look like video game cutscenes for the most part, they were entertaining in that kind of mindless popcorn film kind of way. Although I don't think the special effects are as mind-blowing as some people are saying they are. Like, oh, they're really pushing boundaries and they're showing us things we've never seen before. Not really. I've seen variations of things in this film and other films. Just turns out the special effects in this specific film were good, and it was a visually appealing film to watch on the big screen. But now let's talk about the story and the characters, because they were fantastically lackluster. The story, the characters, did nothing for me. There was no weight to any of the characters. The story had little depth. They tried going for depth, but it just didn't really earn the emotion it was trying to go for. The fundamental thing this film tries to do to get you to care is the romance between Alita and this guy called Hugo. And the split second you meet this Hugo guy and he meets eyes with Alita, I'm just like, oh my god, why does every single dystopian sci-fi film have to have a crappy romance? And yes, I am aware this film is based off an anime or a manga, whatever they're called, so you can't deviate from the source material, I understand. But more or less every sci-fi dystopian film we've had recently has some kind of crappy central romance. Mortal Engines had it, it was terrible in there. This romance wasn't as bad as the one in Mortal Engines, but I just didn't care about these two as a couple. For no particular reason other than I just didn't care. The number one job of any film is get me to care about the characters and get me engaged and invested in the story. This film just didn't do either of those things for me. And that's what I mean when I say the film doesn't really earn its emotions, because towards the end it really wants you to care about the central romance, because that's really the main focal point of the film in terms of the emotion and getting you engaged with it and invested in it. And now just watching it like, no, I just don't care. I'm sorry, I just don't. And the story as well, in terms of things that actually happen in the film, the things the characters get up to and the things that the characters do, really very unspectacular, very unremarkable. They just don't really get up to a lot of big, meaningful things in the film. And I don't need the film to be, you know, constant action, constant special effects. I don't need that. I actually like some of the smaller stuff that they try to do in this film. They try and make it more character driven than just spectacle driven, so I appreciate the effort. It's just the actual film itself, the story, not a lot happens in it. Things happen. Like, just they go here, do a couple things, and they go here, do a couple of other things. Big action scene, and they go do some other things. I'm explaining it very basically. I'm trying not to ruin things for you. But I was just disappointed in the story and the things the characters end up doing in the story. Even the big Elysium style city that's floating above the crappier city, you never once see that big city. You don't see any of it. And I was like, why are we not seeing any of that city that's floating above us? And then they get to the end of the film and it sets up for a sequel. I'm like, there you go. That's why we haven't seen any of the big city, because they're saving it for the next one. And yeah, it's another one of those kind of franchise films where it saves all the real meaty stuff for the next film and leaves the first film or whatever number film it is in the franchise with nothing to do with itself. And in this film's case, it's kind of ass backwards, because they want to set up a franchise, they want to continue Alita's adventures, but with the first film out, they don't really give us a lot of real meat to sink our teeth into for us to want to see a second one. So it's kind of they just screw themselves over with that one, because I walked out of this film with zero desire to see a second one. I walked out of this film with a similar feeling that I had when I walked out of Mortal Engines. It was visually pleasing, good special effects, good potential, big scale, but just nothing when it came to the story and the characters, and I just did not care about it. And like Mortal Engines, I just couldn't wait for this film to end so I could just get out of the cinema and come home. Overall, I'm going to go 2 out of 5 for Alita Battle Angel. Thanks for watching the video as always, guys. Let me know down below what you thought of Alita Battle Angel, and if you want to know my thoughts on some other stuff, click on one of these in a second, and I'll see you all next time.